ISO 27001-2022 Documentation and Consultancy Manual Procedures and Audit Checklists. Hello everyone, welcome to this technical session on ISO 27001-2022 Documentation and Consultancy, focusing on Information Security Management System documentation, procedures, and audit checklists. This session is presented by URGS International Certification and Inspection Private Limited. In today's digital environment, organizations are increasingly dependent on information systems, digital infrastructure, and data-driven operations. With this increased reliance comes to the risk of cyber threats, data breaches, unauthorized access, and information loss. Organizations must therefore implement a structured framework to protect their information assets. This is where ISO 27001-2022 plays a critical role. ISO 27001 is the international standard for Information Security Management Systems, ISMS. It provides a systematic approach to managing sensitive company information, ensuring data confidentiality, integrity, and availability. In this session, we will discuss the importance of ISO 27001 documentation, the ISMS manual structure, required procedures and policies, risk assessment and risk statement documentation, internal audit checklists, the role of consultancy in ISO 27001 implementation. This session will be especially useful for IT managers, information security professionals, compliance officers, quality managers, consultants, organizations planning ISO 27001 certification. Let us begin by understanding the purpose of ISO 27001 documentation. Importance of ISO 27001 documentation. Documentation is the foundation of any management system. ISO 27001 documentation ensures that information security processes are defined, controlled, and consistently implemented across the organization. Well-structured documentation provides several benefits. First, it establishes clear policies and procedures for information security management. Second, it provides evidence of compliance during internal and external audits. Third, it helps employees understand their roles and responsibilities related to information security. Fourth, it ensures consistency in implementation across departments and locations. Finally, proper documentation supports continuous improvement of the ISMS framework. ISO 27001-2022 does not require excessive paperwork, but it does require effective documented information necessary for the operation of the ISMS. The documentation structure typically includes ISMS Manual, information security policies, operational procedures, risk assessment documentation, risk statement plan, statement of applicability, audit checklists, records and logs. Let us now look at each of these elements in more detail. ISO 27001-2022 ISMS Manual. The ISMS Manual is the primary document describing how the organization implements the Information Security Management System. It provides high-level overview of the information security framework. The manual typically includes the following sections. Scope of ISMS. The scope defines the boundaries and applicability of the Information Security Management System. It defines departments included in ISMS, locations covered, information assets within scope, relevant technologies and systems. Clearly defining the scope ensures that the security framework is focused and manageable. Information security policy. The policy defines the organization's commitment to protecting information assets. It establishes objectives related to data protection, cyber security, access control, compliance with legal and regulatory requirements. The policy must be approved by top management and communicated to employees. Organizational roles and responsibilities. ISO 27001 requires organizations to define clear responsibilities for information security management. Typical roles include information security manager, IT security team, system administrators, data owners, internal auditors. Each role must have defined responsibilities to ensure accountability. Risk management approach. The manual will also describe the methodology used for risk assessment and risk treatment. This includes risk identification, risk evaluation criteria, risk acceptance levels, risk mitigation strategies. This structured approach ensures that security risks are systematically identified and managed. Now next is ISO 27001 required policies and procedures. A key part of ISO 27001 documentation is the development of information security policies and procedures. These documents provide operational guidance for managing information security risks. Some of the important procedures include access control procedure. This procedure ensures that only authorized users can access information systems. It defines user account creation, access rights management, password policies, user authentication mechanisms. Proper access control prevents unauthorized access to sensitive information. Information classification procedure. Organizations must classify information based on sensitivity and confidentiality levels. Typical classifications include public information, internal information, confidential information, highly sensitive data. This classification ensures appropriate security controls are applied to different types of data. Then, incident management procedure. The incident management process defines how the organization responds to security incidents such as data breaches, malware attacks, or unauthorized access attempts. The procedure typically includes incident identification, incident reporting, investigation, corrective actions, incident documentation. Effective incident management minimizes damage and operational disruption. Backup and recovery procedure. Organizations must protect critical information through regular data backup and recovery mechanisms. The procedure includes backup frequency, backup storage locations, data restoration procedures, disaster recovery testing. This ensures business continuity in case of system failures or cyber attacks. Risk assessment and risk treatment documentation. Risk management is the core requirements of ISO 27001. Organizations must systematically define and manage information security risks. Risk identification. Risk identification involves determining potential threats to information assets. Examples include cyber attacks, data leakage, unauthorized access, hardware failures, human errors. Each information asset must be evaluated for potential vulnerabilities. Risk analysis. Once risks are identified, they are evaluated based on likelihood of occurrence, impact on the organization. This evaluation helps determine the severity of each risk. Risk treatment plan. The organization must decide how to address identified risks. Possible risk treatment options include risk mitigation, risk avoidance, risk transfer, risk acceptance. The risk treatment plan defines specific security controls to reduce identified risks. Statement of applicability (SOA). The statement of applicability is a critical document in ISO 27001. It lists all applicable security controls from Annex A of ISO 27001-2022 and indicates which controls are implemented, which controls are excluded, justifications for exclusions. The SOA acts as a bridge between risk assessment and security control implementation. Internal audit checklists. Internal audits are required to verify that ISMS is implemented effectively and operating as planned. Audit checklists help auditors systematically review compliance with ISO 27001 requirements. A typical audit checklist includes questions such as Is the information security policy documented and approved? Are information assets properly identified and classified? Are access controls implemented for IT systems? Are employees trained on information security awareness? Are incidents recorded and investigated? Are backups performed regularly? The purpose of the audit checklist is to ensure that all key areas of the ISMS are reviewed during the internal audit process. Internal audits help organizations identify gaps, weaknesses, and improvement opportunities. Role of ISO 27001 Consultancy. Many organizations chose to work with ISO 27001 consultants during implementation. Consultants like URGS International provide expertise in ISMS documentation development, risk assessment methodology, security control implementation, internal audit preparation, certification readiness. Professional consultancy helps organizations implement ISO 27001 efficiently and avoid common implementation challenges. Consultants also assist in aligning the ISMS with business objectives, regulatory requirements, industry best practices. Benefits of ISO 27001 implementation. Implementing ISO 27001 provides several strategic benefits. Organizations can improve information security protection, enhance customer trust and credibility, compliance with regulatory requirements, reduce risk of data breaches and cyber attacks, improve business continuity and resilience. For companies working with international clients, ISO 27001 certification is often a mandatory requirement in contracts and supplier evaluations. At last conclusion, so to summarize, ISO 27001 2022 provides a comprehensive framework for managing information security risks through a structured information security management system. Effective implementation requires well-structured ISMS documentation, clearly defined policies and procedures, systematic risk assessment and treatment processes, comprehensive audit checklists and internal audits, controls improvement of the information security framework. Organizations that implement ISO 27001 successfully can significantly strengthen their data protection capabilities and operational resilience. Now, contact information. If your organization is planning to implement ISO 27001 2022, or if you require documentation support, consultancy, or internal audit services, please feel free to contact us. URGS International Certification and Inspection Private Limited. Our email ID is info@urgsiso.com. Mobile number is +91 7359458455. Thank you for joining this session. Thank you.